Welcome to the American Fork Podcast. This is our show. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
My name is Jake, and I've got some friends here with me. Phil is sitting to my right.
Here I am.
Jeff is also here.
Why don't you describe his shirt? It's a high vis. Why do you wear high vis all the time?
It's the most practical color. It's the only one that's life-saving, and on some jobs they require it. Anything else about my attire?
What year did you acquire that road cone shirt?
That was about it.
This one's pretty new. See how it doesn't have many
Yeah, we
glue
don't see
stains
any
Yeah.
stains.
What is pretty new to you?
like maybe a year.
Oh, that is pretty new.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not bad.
I have shirts I realize that are like 11 years old
Yeah.
that I still wear.
This one hasn't made its way to the
An
bottom of your
11-year-old
drawer yet.
shirt to you is pretty new.
Yeah. No, that's probably one of my olders.
Oh.
Olders. Is that what you call them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Honey, have you seen my blue olders?
But
Pre-mission shirts.
when I was on my mission in the Philippines, I had some shorts made, and I still wear them. They haven't like frayed or worn out or anything.
And they still fit
What
you?
size did you get them made in?
Well, they're like seriously stretched out now, like the bands and everything, but they still work.
Okay.
Good for you for getting those made in elastic, just knowing the future.
I did because
Can you make a medium so that they can be extra large?
Yeah.
I had 3 custom suits made right before I came home, and I only was able to wear them for like a year.
Once the tapeworm died, you were done for.
Yeah, suits
Yeah.
aren't as forgiving as gym shorts.
Nope.
No.
Is it the suits problem or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they got smaller.
It's
weird.
Washing
Different
laundry.
time
Fabric
zone.
does that. After
Yeah.
you get married,
different
Lack
time.
of
Clothes get
humidity.
smaller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Is that what happens? Is you get married, just bam.
yeah, your clothes get smaller. It's
Oh.
weird.
Your,
Yeah,
your baby fat comes back.
The ground gets farther away.
You usually move to a different time zone.
Okay.
What?
We'll also have Trent with us. Hi,
It was
Trent.
an earlier joke.
And our special guest, Bill.
Hey,
Bill.
Bill.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
A lot more details
Appreciate it.
about Bill coming, but he's my father-in-law, and he's in town from New York. So we thought, hey, let's have him on the show.
So we're going to ask him why he allowed his beautiful daughter to marry you.
Why in the
Yeah.
world?
What level of regrets?
And how satisfied he is up until this point.
His competition with how they do it out here in Utah was quite apparent, so it was very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Well,
a powerful guy.
There are a lot of guys that can start a fire with one match here.
Did you ask her,
It was-
him for his permission to date her first and get engaged the same day?
No, just to get married.
Wow.
Oh. So just took that
Yeah.
girlfriend status, no
There
problem.
I jumped both fences that
not
same
even
day.
asking. Mm.
But there was a one match deal that he didn't do too well on. But
Yeah, we can talk more about that later.
Oh, he did have to. You had to start a fire with one match, and you failed.
Yep.
Like a horrible
Horrible
Scout.
Boy
yeah,
Scout.
it
Took
was
2
pretty-
matches.
Yeah.
It was pretty touch and go.
There was a
for
draft,
couple of
guys.
minutes. Yeah.
Did you use cat hair? Cat hair is a good starter.
Oh, is it? Well, now I know. Thanks.
You're welcome.
16 years later.
Do you take it off the cat?
I don't ask questions.
Oh.
I just take the bag of cat hair and light it on fire.
You have a bag of cat hair at your house?
It was a mountain man rendezvous. I was given a bag of cat hair. I'm serious. But anyways, you have stories probably, right,
You
Jake?
were where?
A mountain man rendezvous
For what?
Ron Davis.
Ron Davis for the Boy Scouts of America.
That sounds like just a breeding ground.
Remember that?
for
Boy
a lot
Scout?
of things. So welcome to the show, guys.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, we're here.
Appreciate you listening. We love that we're in your ears right now. So
Sounds like a. Never mind. Go on.
yep. So we're going to start with some American Fork news as we normally do. We've got a couple things about American Fork. Nothing too like murderous or deadly,
Thank goodness.
or nothing that bleeds right now. But the American Fork Harbor on Utah Lake is now open
Oh,
for recreational use.
Was it closed?
has it not been open because of low water?
I don't know, but it just opened like a week
Oh.
ago.
What?
So
Were
yes,
they-
it was
were
not
they redoing
always
it?
open.
Like dredging it?
They did redo it. They've got like some. I guess they brought in a whole bunch of really soft sand that you can kind of put your picnic chairs and stuff on and recreate a little bit. I don't know if I saw some pictures. I think maybe they had a volleyball net or something, but place for families to play.
So if you don't know the answer, who does in this room?
Which answer?
I don't know.
Whether
Why was it closed? Yeah,
I don't know.
you're a pro.
Yeah,
You're the one that you're the pro.
I am the pro because I looked it up.
You know, as kids, we swam in all kinds of lakes all over Utah. And we never went to Utah Lake just to swim, did we?
No,
No, because
Why
you
would
don't swim in Utah Lake. You would just walk in it.
Yeah.
Don't you turn into a skeleton if you swim in Utah Lake these days?
Yeah.
Or you turn into Blinky from the Simpsons. That's the three-eyed goldfish.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. From Geneva Steel.
Yep.
Get it?
So if you want to recreate at the lake, it's now open.
Who uses recreate? Is that a real word?
That's what the government is using now.
If you want to recreate at the lake.
Oh,
Because Provo's been open, I know. So it must just be like a American
I
Fork.
think they didn't say in the article, which I read, because it talks about pricing and all the things that are available there. They didn't say why
like
it
a
was
snack
closed,
shack or something? That'd be cool.
but it's now open.
Oh, okay.
Dope. I won't go there still. That's awesome, though.
So you can go
PC.
bottom out your boat in the Utah. In the
Do you remember when we backed? Whose car did we back on the lake there?
Back onto the lake?
that was
It was like
Bolter's
winter
car.
time.
Oh,
Bolter
Bolter.
did it in his own car.
Well, no, he didn't go in the lake.
It was Provo.
No, it was
it was the Provo
winter,
side.
and we were like backing onto the water to see how far we could go.
Oh,
I
onto
don't
the
remember
ice?
Yeah,
I
Oh,
wasn't
I
there.
don't think I was there.
Sounds like
It's
you're
not
real
your car. You
friends.
can go as far as you want, right?
Yeah.
You still can drive through the lake, even though it's melted. Mm-hmm. It's shallow enough. Another thing going on in American Fork, Steel Days,
Ooh.
which is American Fork's city celebration days, is July 17th through 22nd. By the time you listen to this, it probably will have been like a month ago. So
is that this weekend? Phil said it's next weekend.
17th, whenever that is. So in 5 days from now.
Phil said it's next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend.
Next weekend will be.
It's not in 2
Steel
days.
Phil said next weekend.
That's what I said.
Listener doesn't care.
Well, yeah, by
It's
the
in the
time you
past.
listen to this, it'll be like
3 weeks ago.
September 29th. So,
We'll be getting ready
Thanks,
for the
Phil.
next Steel Days when you listen.
yeah.
But a lot of cool things happening during Steel Days. They got really, really big car show and cruise, fireworks, carnival. They got a new parade route,
Yeah.
Root.
a mid-morning breakfast.
Did you already set up for that, Jake? I saw at the Pleasant Grove one. You were like 3 weeks ahead of
Yeah,
time.
it was about a week and a half before the Strawberry Days parade we set up.
You being
Serious?
serious?
No,
That's
you really
how
did?
do it. Yeah.
No one
You
threw
have
your
to do
stuff
it
away.
that early?
We designated our spot, reserved our spot about a week, maybe a week and 2 days early.
Don't they have to mow?
All he does is poop on the lawn.
well,
He's
you-
like,
they-
this is my spot.
They mow around the spots that are
Do they really?
Yeah,
you just wanted some real long grass to lay.
drive stakes and put a rope around it. And then ours were low enough you could probably mow right over it. But a lot of people like put lawn chairs out and like police tape and like A-frames, and we were the first ones actually on that road. But on the road over by the Pleasant Grove High School, every spot was reserved within a week and a half before.
I love you.
Wow.
They should take that out. They should just throw that crap away.
Don't have like the city crew just like dump all the stuff onto the street.
Yeah.
They should
Why not just leave
Yeah.
it there all year?
drive the road grader up on the side and just plow it all off.
Lawnmowers just chopping everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. A week and a half.
Yeah.
See, my
2 weeks before you start to see chairs out.
my wife's cousin is in charge of the Provo one. So
That's a big one.
So family members just go volunteer at their own like bleachers, and then you just get to go for free, your whole family.
You realize it's just people walking past you. You can go do that any day of the week.
But sometimes they're
Nope.
in a car, Trent, and they wave at you.
they
and,
throw
and
candy.
they look at you if you like
it's
wave
free
right
candy,
at them.
Trent.
I am so annoyed by parades, even if I don't see them and not around.
All that saltwater taffy and thawed out lollipops.
They don't do that at
Or,
most of them though
Otter Pops?
anymore because sugar's not very healthy.
Because COVID.
Yeah.
They
I'm
throw.
going to the Draper City Parade on Saturday if you want to come, Trent.
Yeah, set me on
Trent,
the spot last week.
Trent likes parades.
My parents probably set a spot out 2 weeks ago.
They live there.
Yeah, I know, but okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I stay home. My family goes every year, and I sleep in.
How is that compared to free saltwater taffy?
It's much better
Yeah.
Sleeping in.
because I also am not into parades. I went to the Thanksgiving Day parade in New York and hated that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
That's mainly because you're in New York.
yeah.
That's,
Oh, wait.
Inside
I
joke.
hear what you're saying.
Bill is from New York, but upstate, right?
Upstate.
Oh,
Yeah,
Funny
that's
thing
fine.
is,
where the
state-
real people live.
I didn't
Yeah.
even go to the
That's
parade,
right.
so yeah.
What parade? Oh, this one
The
that you
Strawberry
set
Days.
up for?
Yeah.
You set up a week and a half. You didn't even go.
Well, our family went. Stacy and I were in Greece,
Oh, that's right.
so which was awesome.
Which
How
I
was
still
that?
don't understand. Was that what kind of grease? Peanut oil?
Yeah, mostly peanut oil.
Uh-huh.
Some spots canola oil.
Safflower?
Sunflower oil.
Wait.
Safflower?
So did you end up going to the Parthenon or whatever? Like
We didn't go to Athens. We went
Oh.
to Santorini, which is one of the other popular islands, and Paros,
islands.
which is about just
Sounds
a
like
few
a
hours
rip-off.
trolley north. Trolley.
tell us about how
Ferry
you ruined a
ride north.
celebrity's day.
Which celebrity?
Wait,
You,
I have a-
you
I
tell
have-
me. How many
His day was
celebrities did
already
you ruin?
ruined because he was sitting at the airport.
Then why did you ask me which celebrity?
How many celebrities did you run into?
Just one.
Okay, then how'd you ruin his day?
We were on the day we were flying out. We were at the Santorini airport, and we're walking by one of the terminals, and Christian
Brad
Bale
Pitt.
was there.
Christian Bale?
Christian Bale.
Wasn't he Batman?
He was.
Batman.
With the sign around his neck that said, "Please stop and take a picture of me."
I want people to bother me in the airport. That's what the
Yeah.
sign said.
One of the 8 Batman.
So I talked to him.
Uh-huh.
Normally, a celebrity, I wouldn't care. Well, most celebrities, I'd be like, "Oh, cool. Maybe take a picture from a distance."
Yeah.
You know, just to say that I
creepily.
saw him.
Very
Yeah,
creepily.
like one of those people.
Well, there's
but
no
since-
crowd around him.
Since
probably.
Christian Bale's one of my favorite actors, I had to at least talk to him for a minute. So I did.
Who's on that list?
And he was super annoyed with me.
Was he
Was
really?
he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was not.
I
He
would
was
have.
not
I would have.
pleased at all.
I would have
with
told
me.
you that he is not a celebrity to approach. Wasn't he the one that like flipped out at like the staff
Yeah, that
because someone brought him the wrong drink or something?
He
a
there
light
was
guy.
And it was on a
at
recording.
least the one that what I'm thinking of is he was recording a scene for a movie, and like one of the crew members would like walked behind
through
him.
his line of sight.
Yeah, behind him or something, so you could see him. So it ruined the shot, and so he like yelled at him.
Oh yeah, that was it. But he let you take a picture with him.
Yeah, but did you see the picture?
I think so. Was he annoyed?
He
Is he flipping you off?
only let him because there was nowhere to escape.
Yeah, exactly. He couldn't
Because there
run
wasn't
anywhere.
a first class lounge.
It looks
at that
like
airport.
Crystal when you
He-
snuggle up next to her on the couch and she's like, "This is exactly what I wanted."
Oh, I know that look.
He was positioning himself in case he had to protect himself.
He looked like he
Yeah.
was leaning towards the door,
In the
Away
airport,
on
so
the-
that's a ways away.
opposite direction of me.
In his defense, he
But-
probably did it like 70 times since he got in the
Yes.
airport.
I don't know. It didn't seem like anyone recognized him because
Or-
he had a really long beard
He looked like
Oh.
and he was
Christian
in
Bale.
Greece.
Yeah. I thought it was Christian Bale. I don't really remember, but I vaguely remember seeing some text that I like quickly brushed over.
Yeah.
But-
I want to hear who's on the list of people that you would stop in an airport. Like it's not a lot of people. You said.
No, not
Gordon
very
B.
many.
Hinckley.
the dead.
The dead
Gordon B.
Hinckley.
Hinckley.
Frankly, I'd go to any dead person. If I knew they were dead and they were in the airport, I'd be like, "Excuse me,
Aren't you dead?
can I get a picture with you?"
Biden's doing a good job of that.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Because he's dead, Trent. Did you get that one?
No, I didn't.
Andy Serkis. I would probably stop and talk to him.
That's made up.
Andy Serkis. You guys know Andy Serkis.
Oh, you're right. That's our fault. I'll look it up, guys.
Mhm.
The
He-
Okay, thanks. Thanks,
Go-
Trent.
Gollum.
Gollum from Lord of the
Are you
Rings.
kidding me?
He was the motion actor for
my God.
the Kong on King Kong.
Oh my god.
He was so good they wouldn't even put his face on.
He
the
was
show.
he was
He was in the Marvel.
he was in the new Batman with
Christian Bale.
no the latest Batman.
The one that was really dark.
Yeah.
Just in
Like-
case you're wondering, he's also an ape on
Yeah. He's,
one of the.
Oh yeah, he was the Planet of the
Arth-
Apes.
Yeah, it looks just
Caesar.
like him. What the fuck? How does
Caesar.
Caesar. Don't look at me like I'm the asshole. He looks like a fucking ape in this.
They did make him change
I
his
thought you were
face.
talking about when he was an ape.
What? That is the most random
is an
person ever. Why would you choose him?
I really like him as an actor.
Oh my gosh.
He's
I-
a really, really
I'm
good
not.
actor.
Okay, who else? Give me someone I'll be impressed with.
I don't think there
Matthew
anyone I would
McConaughey?
stop.
I like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Bonus points if he's in
Tom
like
Cruise,
Lincoln.
but you probably couldn't get within 50 feet of Tom Cruise.
Right.
He would be at a normal
Unless-
terminal.
He'd be.
No, he
his,
wouldn't.
John Travolta would be driving him around,
Yeah.
flying him around.
Don't they have a special plane for him anyway?
Probably.
Yeah. He probably
It's
sits
the one
in
he
the cockpit.
It's the one he jumps out of and out of.
Yeah, he just
He
is
never
attached to
misses
the
the
outside.
He just does flyovers and he parachutes into wherever he's going.
He spends most of the time in the sky. Anyway, enough about me.
Oh yeah.
This wasn't about you.
You guys asked what other celebrities.
No, we
would you
asked
like
about
to-
the celebrity.
Yeah.
No, but we got into Greece somehow, and you were doing like a podcast.
I was no, didn't go to Strawberry Days because I was in Greece.
That's right, that's
and then
right.
you're like, "Hey, you saw a celebrity. Tell us about that.
that's right.
Tell us about your experience, Jake." That's what you said.
I
When you
remember.
said you were in Greece, I thought you were playing a part in the musical.
No,
Okay. I
no,
understand
no
now.
remake of Greece at this point.
I understand now.
Yeah. So Utah news.
Ooh.
I don't know why I put this one as Utah news, but I will add something else that I was thinking about on the way over here. The Utah treasure hunt is still underway.
Oh yeah.
I thought you found it.
No, I didn't.
You guys are
Based on the
talking about
number
way
of
too much.
texts, you found it.
I probably did several times, but I didn't actually go look for it yet.
That's right. They released some clues, didn't they?
Yeah, every Friday. So this one has taken like significantly longer than they thought it would, because in the past they've done a treasure hunt since 2020. This is their fourth one, and the shortest one was 8 days, and then I think 2 weeks was the longest anyone has gone since, and then now it's been 7 weeks. Friday will be 7 weeks.
You know why it's so much longer though is
Extra $5,000.
supply chain issues.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know why I think it's not working? Bad grammar.
There is some weird grammar in the poem.
The first line, isn't it? Start where time is transcendent.
Begin your search where time was transcendent.
Where time was transcendent. Does that even make sense? Can time
No,
be
and
transcendent?
I think that's why no one knows.
And can it
where
be
it
in
is.
the past? Right. They don't know where to start.
They don't. But they did say that. So they release clues every Friday, and they have like 17 clues on their website, or hints or whatever. And trust me, I know all of them. But basically, they say they keep saying everyone's being too complex. You're out searching too much. They said that the first 6 lines of the poem can be figured out from home. So a lot of people are thinking, well, does that mean that?
Is that because home and poem rhyme?
Yes,
Yeah.
both have 4 letters.
People get a little crazy about
So
it.
people are thinking where time was transcendent would be the internet, because you can search on the internet, do the first 6 lines of the poem, and then hopefully, if you solve the first 6 lines of the poem, everything you should be able to know pretty much where it's at, what trail it's in, and then you just follow the steps in the poem as you were, going through the trail.
See, the only thing I could think of was maybe the temple. Because
inside the temple.
yeah, they're like the temple. You do eternal things. Maybe that's what I
Time
mean.
transcends in the
like-
in the temple.
Yeah. Otherwise, what else is there?
Mountains.
But why would it say time was transcendent?
And that's what's thrown a lot of people off. It says was.
Yeah.
'Cause time is transcendent on the internet. Anyway, so it's still $25,000 is sitting in a chest somewhere.
Is it cash?
But
on
it's
a trail?
time.
Yeah,
There's like
cash.
a big
There's a lot of
college
cash.
rolled IOU.
No, it's just loose cash.
So how do we know it's still out there?
But
well,
time isn't transcendent. You can feel like you transcend time, but to say time is transcendent, what does that mean?
Maybe that's part
Time
of the
it's-
clue.
time
Maybe
itself-
that was
maybe.
purposely
time
put
itself does not transcend. You're right.
Yeah.
But something can transcend time. So, but yes,
What would
grammatically it's not perfect, and so it kind of is difficult. And there are some lines in the poem, they finally release clues after like 3 weeks. Like one of the lines says, search for an hour and you'll know by its crest. But they released after like 2 or 3 weeks that an hour is not 60 minutes, it's 60 feet off the trail. No one, how are you supposed to know that?
It did sound like one of the hints did say that one of you guys said this, that the
Don't look at me
the
because I
tree
didn't
or
say
the
anything.
tower or whatever was one of those like radio towers that looks like a
Radio.
tree. The tree
cell
without
phone
power.
GPS towers. Or
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably been the most common assumption going around the internet is that there's a cell phone tower somewhere that it may be by.
What
Yeah.
about the one out in the West Desert? The fake tree,
That tree of life.
that is not a
A
tree.
lot of people have searched there, but it doesn't line up with most of the other lines in the poem. Anyway, no one's found it. So
I'll find it already.
Phil will find
just
it.
have to take a minute.
$25,000. It'd be fun. We keep thinking like, all right, someone just find it, so I don't have to keep
I can't remember where
scouring the internet.
we were talking somewhere. It was like 6 of us, and I'm like, "What's 25,000 divided by 6?"
Yeah,
And I think Phil's answer was not enough.
Not enough. Yeah, it was here. Last
That
time
was
we
the last
recorded.
podcast?
Last
Okay.
episode is when they released it. About
Oh, that's funny.
when they just came out with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not enough. So
It-
if you go find it yourself, Phil,
That
you'll
would
good.
be about as much as Biden almost forgave for my student loans before the Supreme Court shut him down.
Yep.
Good. You put a sticker on you that says, "I did that."
Yep.
Next news. Nationwide news. Billionaire deathmatch is what I called this one. You guys know what that
That
is?
sounds fun, like Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV.
Actually, 2 celebrities who have been teasing the idea of a cage fight.
Oh yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk
Oh, my money's on.
got
Elon.
their fisticuffs.
Zuckerberg apparently is like training in jiu-jitsu.
I think he is a trained. At least this article I read, he is trained in jujitsu,
Yeah.
which
He
is,
won like a bunch of
I didn't know
matches a couple months
nerds were
Did he?
allowed to
ago. Yeah.
to do.
Oh, he's not a
jujitsu.
nerd anymore. He's paid his way out of nerddom.
Yeah, he
Nerddom.
doesn't have to really think anymore
Yeah.
unless he's being asked questions in Congress.
He's still a nerd. He's just trying to think he isn't.
Oh yeah.
But one thing Elon Musk has going for him is he can work a 33-hour day, which means he can fight a 60-hour round, right?
Yeah.
Like Elon.
Well,
He's
he
got the
can
work,
he can
he's
work
got the work ethic.
a long time like this. which
Phil's-
is why he has my frontal
Elon
softness.
Musk already beat his receding hairline. It is now going the opposite direction.
He falls backwards
getting
and
more
still
hair?
hits his
Yes.
forehead.
He's running faster than his receding hairline.
Yes.
If he falls backwards, he still hits his forehead. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was very bald, and it's much less bald.
Oh, it's because he works so much.
No, apparently Musk is pissed though because Zuckerberg released that
Threads.
chatters or whatever.
Yeah, so
Threads.
there was in response to the Twitter or Mark Zuckerberg saying that he's going to release Threads, which is the competitor to Twitter. Elon Musk said in a tweet, "I'm up for a cage match if he is, LOL." And Zuckerberg responded the next day with an Instagram story showing a screenshot of Musk's tweet, and it said, "Send me a location." And so they've kind of been doing this bout back and forth and sending pictures on the internet of them like training and stuff like that. And now Elon Musk seems to kind of be backing out, like it was just a metaphor.
Yeah,
And people are saying like, "Oh, they're going to fight in the Coliseum," and
they were never gonna fight.
Yeah, no.
The insurance companies would have put a stop to that
Oh,
long
big time.
before.
Oh yeah.
The PR firms that they hire are so funny.
Yeah,
Or the clones.
the clone.
Send in the clones.
Oh, that'd be good. An Elon clone against a Zuckerberg clone.
Hey,
As long as if they were produced by like their own companies, of course Elon would win. 100%.
maybe they have 5 of each
Yeah.
already.
Oh, maybe they do.
Elon Musk will have like a robot suit that he
Yeah. Exoskeleton.
exoskeleton.
Mm. Powered by batteries.
So that would be interesting if they fought. I don't think they actually will, but
Nope.
No.
No.
You know the fight that I was bummed about a while back was
Mike Tyson.
You guys know who Hapthor is?
Nope.
He's
Sounds
like
made up.
the giant Icelandic guy, world's strongest man, and the other world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. They
Yeah,
were
both of those totally know.
Eddie Hall broke the world deadlift record,
He broke the world.
and then they had a world's strongest man competition, whatever it's called. I think that's it, world's strongest man.
yeah.
They
And
do
then
have that.
Hapthor, who's like massive, lost to him and was like, he cheated, blah, blah, blah. So then they were like, let's fight. And it was like a big thing. They were going to really fight. And everyone was like, will one of their heads just come completely off? Because he's punching at like 10,000 pounds or something. And anyway, Eddie Hall's bicep came detached during his training and it never
geez.
happened. But it was exciting.
Guys like that don't have much stamina, though. So it's like one round and
3
interesting,
swings and they're
you're
like
done.
exhausted.
Yeah.
No, but it was surprising. Eddie Hall would train with this like Navy SEAL guy who's like real fit and obviously a lot smaller. And he obviously couldn't keep up with him, but he would like finish all the courses that he set out for him and stuff. Like he could exercise. What's the word?
Exercise.
He could perform aerobic exercise, which you
Activity?
wouldn't think so looking at him. But he can also lift like 2,000 pounds or
A little
whatever.
help from Jane Fonda, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So
So I'm going to skip the world news and go to
Why?
galaxy news.
Why?
Galaxy.
Why world news? Why?
Unless someone has something world news wise.
oh, you didn't
you're
have
just
one.
skipping
That's
it.
what you're
Okay, okay.
saying.
Well,
Just say-
in my search for world news items, I found something that was outside of the
Galactic.
world.
oh,
Okay, tell
well,
me.
technically the world, but
I have a world news thing,
Yes.
or should I say it after?
no, go ahead.
Well, maybe it's too political, but Biden's freaking
Have
sending.
we ever had that argument? that
Biden's
something's too
sending
political?
cluster bombs to Ukraine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't
How
that
about that?
That's cool.
He's sending them to Ukraine to use, or
Well,
Yeah, he's not shooting
not
them to
bombing-
Ukraine.
he's not bombing Ukraine.
I don't think he's storing them there.
Ukraine's argument for using them is pretty good, actually.
What'd they say?
Because a lot of the treaties, America didn't sign the treaty, so we can still create cluster bombs. But
Right.
they're saying they're using them in their own country. So since they're using them in their own country, they should be able to use them.
What's a cluster
But
bomb?
what if they were using like anthrax bombs in their own country?
Time out.
That's a cluster bomb, so you shoot it, and then it will shoot.
Disperses, right?
Right,
little,
right.
Yeah, it's a
little
bunch of little
explosives?
bombs.
Yeah.
And the problem with them is too many of them don't explode. So after the bombs go off, people can go like pick up bombs.
Yeah, like on
And,
Easter.
You know, you can have an Easter egg hunt of bombs, and they'll go off later. So Ukraine's saying, well, the agreement was don't use them in someone else's country.
I see.
On
We're
foreign
using them
ground.
to defend our own.
So did we have these things chilling in a warehouse, or are we making them?
Our defense as America was that we should have them because we are we're the world's
Because we're America.
defense.
America.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt kind of sick about it because it seemed to me like something that was like, I mean, what is unethical in war? But it's kind of like,
Well, next step to escalation.
right, exactly. Because we escalate a new type of weaponry. What are the Russians going to do?
They
Of
have
course.
been using them already.
Well, if they've been using them already and then we escalate, they're going to escalate. So now there's going to be a new thing that they start using.
But they don't have one thing that we have. They did it first.
Yeah.
They don't have that.
Oh, they did.
We
it
do.
first. I don't know, because when you're shooting it's like shooting a grenade, basically, but a way bigger grenade, right?
Right.
That explodes and shoots shrapnel everywhere. So, like civilians, buildings, I don't know,
Innocent geese.
innocent geese.
Maybe we're sending them all the rejects.
Maybe. They said it's a 2% dud rate. So if it drops 100 bombs, there's only 2 live ones left
That's it?
over after every shot.
I mean, how many limbs can one blow up?
Yeah, I don't know. It can't be that
One
bad.
at a time,
I bet
maybe?
if a child steps on it, they'll be fine. Hospital afternoon.
Those
something like
Ukrainian
that.
children are
Give them
pretty
some
resilient.
Tylenol. Put some tussin on it.
I don't know. It seemed wild to me, but maybe it's a good thing. I don't know.
Is any war thing a good thing?
A good thing? Yeah, I don't know about.
How's this turning into a joke?
Because because everything's a joke on this show.
Yeah.
It's actually terrible.
Even War and Blood.
Phil.
Get it? That was it. That was my thing for the
Terrible.
world.
Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Great.
Did you have something to say
I
about
thought
it?
we were done talking about.
I
the war.
cried
Oh.
just now. Why are we warring?
So, we're Galaxy News.
Oh.
The one I call this. We were way off. How old do you think? Well, how old have we officially said the Earth is? Do you guys know?
How old is Jesus? That plus 1 day.
33.
Plus, what he was. Yes. 30.
He's 33.
How old has like mainstream
Well,
science?
Science, yeah. What is
said?
science?
14.6 billion.
Well, I think
close.
they say the universe is 4.6 billion or something like that. I don't know.
Oh no, 14.6 is the universe. 4
Sorry.
point something is the Earth.
You're right.
What did you say?
I'm talking about the universe. Sorry, not the Earth.
Oh.
Yes, the universe.
14 billion. 14.695.
Yeah, it's close. 13.7 is
dang
the consensus in science right now.
How do you even come up with that?
They look at their cosmic radiation background in the sky and say, based on how quickly it's swelling, if we minus or put that in reverse on our cameras times a trillion, it all goes back.
What happened to just cutting it in half and counting the rings?
That's what they're doing.
And how many years and weeks old does your special church say that it is?
I don't think there's an official date to the universe by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh,
But
no one's allowed to date
some
the universe.
scholar in the church has said that it's 6,000 years, something like that.
Oh,
so the dinosaurs just we're ignoring most of everything. Okay.
Something like that.
Well,
No.
it also was that ex nihilo, nothing is created from nothing, so it has to always have existed. Isn't that correct?
Is that their belief?
Yes.
Oh,
that's also the belief of science, right?
well, nothing is.
Well, you can't explain what was there before. Science can't explain what was there before the Big Bang, and that's why it's kind of controversial.
Oh,
But anyway, let me finish my thought here, and then we'll continue to talk. So obviously, for many years we believed the consensus as 13.7 billion years is the age of the universe, but according to a adjunct professor at University of Ottawa, because that's a really popular one,
Canada.
it's according to him 26.7 billion years old.
oh,
So that's a significantly longer, older universe than what we had previously thought.
And in other news, he recently died.
you know, as a scientist, like you're doing your like second postdoctoral work or whatever, like, and you say it's actually 5 billion years older. Like, how's anyone gonna challenge you?
Right.
How do they falsify whether it's 14 billion or
30
22 billion?
yeah.
The arm of man has always been based on hypotheses anyway, right?
Right. That's what I always say.
It's just the best knowledge that you have at the time.
Well, yeah, it's like trying to look at an ant across Utah Lake with a pair of binoculars, and like I'm sure there's a lot of science you could do to improve that, but when it all boils down to it, you can't see it.
But I thought hindsight was 2020, so we should know everything about the past.
Yeah,
Unless you have
exactly.
2015 vision.
Ooh.
Anyway, is that all you were saying about that?
Yeah, Jake,
so
is that it?
I think basically what
Jeez.
he's saying is the Earth didn't necessarily expand at the same rate. That it has kind of accelerated in expansion and not always been the same speed. So
Yeah.
his calculations are twice as old as
So he didn't get the flat Earth theorem
He didn't-
figured out yet. Then, huh?
he hasn't. It wasn't in this article, but I don't know if he's.
Yeah,
a
maybe
flat Earth
we go
guy.
faster because we're flat, like just a lot less air drag.
Frisbees fly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And everything else is slower because it's round.
Yeah,
More, more.
we're
drag.
the only flat thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
That's what they say.
Haven't you seen that picture? It's just like the flat Earth, and then it's like all the round planets, like in the solar system, and it's just a question mark. Like,
I have not seen that.
Yeah,
That
I
was a good
created that.
yeah, maybe I can pull it up.
Oh, Jeff's bald.
Jeff got a haircut.
Oh, yeah, I've been shaving my head because I only wear hats.
Welcome
You're welcome.
to the
What?
party.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
It's easy.
Yep.
So that's it for the news that I had
Yeah, Phil.
today.
Quick Googling.
Unless Phil has something else that he would. It's going to show us.
I was just going to show you the
a comic
flat
of-
Earth thing, but it takes
No,
too
go ahead.
long. Oh,
Go ahead.
maybe I'll just show
Here,
you on
let
my
me turn
iPad.
on the.
Yeah.
Throw it up on the
projector.
Show
screen.
the class.
We
Show
can.
the class.
We
Yeah.
can.
Make all your things dance, Phil.
Here, I got a pretty big iPad. See that?
Oh, yeah.
All these perfect spherical planets,
And then it's a square.
and then a square flat Earth.
That's really funny.
It's like
actually.
a trapper keeper binder.
Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting what the flat earthers are saying. They're taking their binoculars across Lake Michigan from Ohio
hmm
and specking out the towers in Chicago.
Yeah.
And they're saying with the rate of fall of 2 feet every 8 miles, that tower should be 700 feet underwater, and it doesn't appear to be so.
Right.
And the weathermen come up and say, "Oh, it's a mirage off the water, or this or that." But I mean, it's very interesting the clarity that these cameras have come up with.
Yeah, there was a documentary on Netflix a while back. Did you see that, where they did the flat Earth stuff? And they were doing quite a bit of extensive, like, similar type experiments where they were trying to shoot lasers down, like, canals and things that were, like, really flat for a long distance. And I think ultimately, to my understanding, they found that it was indeed round. But
Oh shoot! Well, we're filming anyway. Let's just make it.
yeah, but
Change our
I
conclusion.
actually like I don't at all like subscribe to Flat Earth, but I like those guys. They're guys that are like, I distrust what I've been told my whole life, and I'm going to go out and prove it for myself.
No matter how many times I'm
Yeah.
told I'm wrong.
Yep.
They set out to challenge the status
Yeah.
quo.
You're right.
And they even had like really expensive like dials and instruments, or like what do you call them? Kind of like mechanical things that like showed how the sun would work and all that, like models that like, well, if it's flat, this is how the sun would move around and all this stuff. It's fun.
Thanks, Phil.
They
Flat
should get a
Earth-
hobby.
Flat Earth is fun.
Well, they do argue with there's one video out there about these 19 air pilots that are asked a question in their fuselage of their planes, and they say no, it's pretty much flat
Oh yeah.
because they set certain criteria for their automatic pilot. Was that what they call that?
Autopilot.
Autopilot,
Yeah.
and they say that's a straight azimuth, straight on.
Yeah.
It doesn't deviate, or the computer doesn't take over and drop them so many feet per mile.
Right.
And these are 19 pilots that are saying it's
So
flat.
Why
And-
then, when they fly from like Denver to Paris, do they not go in a straight line?
Well,
They go
you might
in
be
a
interested
big arc
to
and
know.
down.
There's a lot of maps that are showing that going from California to Tokyo, they cross certain continents that shouldn't be in a globe configuration. They should not be stopping at. So it's very interesting, some of their arguments for the case. But
So they're saying that in a place from California to Tokyo.
right, they show you some of the and they do get into some of the ancient maps that we used to have long ago.
Uh-huh.
That was not the heliocentric as we once thought. So they're, as you can see, they're bringing in a lot of ancient information and knowledge that has been somehow stricken from our observation. That's coming to light that some of these things are becoming quite plausible because anciently, like the big problem with the pyramids, what are the pyramids all about other than, a pharaoh's tomb, which has been found out to be false too. So there's a lot of information now that people are starting to look at and say, well, they're scratching their heads and say, well, I might need some more knowledge on this, but it's very interesting, the cases that they're presenting.
So the people who have flown around the world, is there a big flip they just don't talk about, or
Well-
they bounce off the edge and come back around?
If they talk about it, it's like us, the conservative end of things. If we talk about things that are happening, what happens usually to us in the media.
Well, it's like, don't they say there's a portal or something? Like they get to Antarctica and it like zooms.
It's
into
like
the
playing
other side.
Pac-Man. All of a sudden, you leave the screen one side and just pop in
Yeah,
on the other.
exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
I have a.
I think what
That's
their
how it
argument
works.
is they fly in a circle around the disk of the Earth.
So they're just slightly turning right. Just one tire is a little
And they
flatter.
don't know it. That's, I think, what I've heard.
Yeah, this plane pulls to the left, but it
That's
works
how
out
the
good.
sun works in their thing. They've got like the model of the Earth, and the sun is like going like this around it, and it's showing like how the shadow works.
right.
So where does
Around
it
the
go to at night?
Horizon. You lose it on the horizon.
Right.
It's perspective.
So like over here, there's mountains. Here you are. The sun comes around the mountain. And
What if
then
there
it
are no
goes back
mountains?
this way?
Trent, have you ever been bowling?
Have I been bowling?
Yeah.
I have been.
Did I rest my case? How is that possible?
With a round a flat ball?
With a round Earth.
I didn't play it with a frisbee.
If the Earth was really round, it would come back.
Yeah.
Trent.
Yeah.
Hold on. So this is a perfect introduction into our official guest. Okay. So we have Bill here with us today. Bill's my father-in-law. And he is also a arborist, professional arborist and conspiracy expert. And I thought that it would be fun to have him on the show to talk about things.
We
So-
love conspiracies.
Yeah, we dabble in conspiracy discussions on occasion on the show, and they make for fun fodder if nothing else. But
It's a fun fodder-in-law.
But wait, I have a tree question. Can I ask a tree question?
Sure thing.
Oh,
Go
here we
ahead.
go.
I planted a flowering tulip.
Oh God,
Cost
here we
like
go.
$400. Might have been 12 feet tall when I bought it, like 4 years ago.
Right.
And it might be like 13 and a half feet, and it gets hardly any leaves on it.
Right. Did you have the soil tested out?
No, but there was a flowering tulip in the exact spot I planted it.
Mm-hmm.
That was taken out. Then there was
Roots, they ground the stump out.
they
also?
ground the stump out, and it was probably at least like 5 to 10 years between that and when I planted it.
Are the neighborhood dogs peeing on it?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
That's
Are
not
you
good.
moving
Are
anyway?
your kids peeing on it? Because
It's
I know
not
your
mine. It's at
kids-
my grandma's.
Oh,
But I
well, that's a
planted it.
bummer.
Well, it's a softwood tree, so it should take off pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's like
Does
the
it have-
lindens, But
Your
Huh.
your grandma's property has a lot of shade from big trees. Is it in
It's
the
out
sunny
in the
spot?
front. Yeah.
It's in the sunny spot.
It's got plenty of sun. It gets watered with the grass. I've tried to keep the grass cut back from it.
have you tried exercising the previous tree's soul from the area?
No, maybe that's
Exercise
it.
That's what I-
the demon.
Yeah, you got to exercise the demons.
Did you baptize the tree?
Yeah, I think I got a bad tree.
Do you
my
have the
guess.
receipt?
Yeah, I should take it back.
From 5 years ago.
This is what I can do to help.
I can
I'm
see you
sorry.
going down the road in the big back of a pickup truck, man.
How do
15
you
feet
how do
tall.
you take the tree back? Because it takes a while to figure out if it's going to work.
Some
Obviously.
nurseries will take a tree back, but it's usually like
1 or
within a
2
year.
years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Within a year or two.
Yeah.
But it's got to die. Like they're not taking it back. She's like, I just don't love it.
yeah.
It's got to be dead.
It's like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree of tulip trees. It's like the bottom branch has all its leaves, and then like 3 more branches have some leaves, and all the rest are dead.
I'm
that's a
surprised because
bummer.
those tulip trees are like weeds. They grow like anywhere.
Yeah,
So does that make you feel good that you can't grow weeds?
I can't grow a weed that grows anywhere.
Dude,
I ruined it.
put it in my front yard. It'll be fine.
Let's see. How about with the heat and the evaporation of water? Is it getting enough deep rooted water?
I've wondered about that. I don't know.
Put some of those nitrogen spikes down on the ground.
I have tried that as well.
Dang it.
Mm.
Oh, that's all I got.
You might want to go with that's granular, not liquid.
The spike,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was just like a solid spike you step
Yeah,
on.
try the liquid.
Oh, okay.
It might just goes a
Nitrogen?
little faster.
Like
Yeah.
like
a-
Miracle Grow.
Like a 1064.
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah.
You know what a 1064
Yeah,
is.
it's the
Not
it's the
10
numbers
nitrogen,
on
It's the
Six-
formula of the nitrogen,
six
yada yada yada.
phosphorus.
the
For
fertilizer.
Lime, right?
Fertilizer has a rating on the front. It's the
I know.
what is it? Phosphorus,
And
nitrogen,
nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium.
Obviously.
potassium.
Mhm.
See,
All that. Mhm.
Yeah.
I knew that, Jeff.
Right.
Or
I
Jeff,
didn't.
Get a
Phil's
book from
Phil's
Amazon.
like a master gardener.
Or what?
get a book from Amazon.
Oh yeah, and see why it's not
How to
working.
grow tulip trees for dummies.
Oh, books are good for plants. What do you do?
Yeah.
Shred the pages?
You just read to it.
Oh,
Read to the tree every day.
ooh! You should put Mozart on a Bluetooth speaker and
Oh,
put it out there.
There you go.
Another
And-
thing you might think of is you might sing to it or play music to it.
Oh yeah,
Very interesting book from the 70s. It's called The Secret Life of Plants.
yeah.
If you get a chance to read it, it's amazing. Talk about crazy stuff.
Is that where they got
the
the
Russians were working on this a long time ago.
Huh. Singing and playing music for plants.
Well, it's basically frequency.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like ringing bells. You know, it's like really permeates and affects like it affects us.
I like where you're going. I feel like it'd be a good idea to go out in my garden and like
Put
Just
some
hug
amps
it,
out
play
there.
those
Hug it a little bit.
the bowls
The
or
crystal
whatever.
bowl.
Yeah.
The sound bowls.
Yeah. Get those going for an hour or so.
It's
every
not
day.
like you have like children you could play with or a wife you could hang out
no,
or a
no,
life you
no.
can
with.
live.
Yeah.
Backpacking you can do.
Yeah.
I want to play music for my garden.
There you go, man. They
Speaking
do it
of-
for cows, and
speaking
they
of
do pretty good
backpacking.
by it. So
Yeah. And babies
Mm.
in the womb.
Wait, what?
yes, that's
You guys
correct.
That non-flowering womb baby.
You can't be
They
pregnant.
play music for
Yes,
the baby.
right.
do.
Yeah.
You know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Mozart.
thought you were saying that you somehow were pregnant.
Oh,
That's not, well, at least not
doesn't
possible for
appear
you.
that way.
It makes a
But-
move with Tupac. They really get moving when they hear Tupac. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And don't play Beethoven though.
No, that's garbage.
Dun, 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 dun. They'll grow up like messed up,
What were you gonna say?
like Hitler.
Oh,
What?
I don't know why. I just that's the
Didn't
first thing
Hitler
that came
like
to mind.
classical music or something?
Sure.
Growing up?
so Bill, what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
That's like
What's
asking
what's
for
the one that
favorite
just like
child.
gets you going?
The one that gets me going is, man, there's so many of them to
MK
choose
Ultra.
from, but I'm really the whole United Nations and their programs, and not NGOs and the control systems that's taking over. And if you go back, have you ever heard the term the Empire of the City?
Nope. I've heard Empire of the Sun.
Okay. Well, each city
Good movie.
represents a source of power and influence in human life. For instance, there's 3 basic cities that are in charge of everything. And I'm sure it's going to be really hard to figure this out, but I'll name them and you can see what the source and system of control is.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
One is Vatican City.
Dang it.
Catholic Church.
Obviously.
Okay.
Obviously.
All right. Religion.
Uh-huh.
Right. The next one would be the city of London.
Yep.
For what?
Jack the Ripper.
Insurance.
Bad teeth.
Okay, well, a little deeper than that.
Commerce. No.
Uh,
Industry.
Bad teeth.
Bricks.
insurance
Mm-mm.
companies.
The king and queen.
Sparkling water.
Okay.
Bad weather.
Finance.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
The big
Gotcha.
banks, right?
Uh huh.
And interesting, the last one, can you guess?
Tokyo.
No.
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
Oh.
There's
yeah.
only 3 places
Why?
that are independent.
Why Washington?
Political?
Freemasons.
Well,
Mm.
that's a big part of it.
Political?
Well, the infiltration of Freemasonry was basically the Illuminati,
Yeah.
right? They
Vamp-
kind of infiltrated, and Adam Weishaupt always said, make sure you infiltrate to not show your true colors, that you use it as a, wolf's and sheep's clothing, that you hide yourself and your intentions behind. It's 5th column infiltration. You know what 5th column is, right?
Nope, I don't know that, and I don't know who that guy was that you said.
Adam Weishaupt, he was the purveyor and the starter and implementation of the Illuminati. The Bavarian Illuminati was started, interestingly enough, May 1st, 1776. Some connection to that?
So the Illuminati is a real thing. It's not just like
Yes.
And they released a how-to handbook?
yes.
Like how
Yeah.
seems like a weird thing to like we're going to infiltrate, no one knows us, but here's how we do it.
Here's a published book.
Well, it's all the
about it.
tenets, and these are very secretive because, like I said, Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. He was one of the American Grand Generals of Freemasonry after Weishaupt Mazzini too. Mazzini is tied to the mafia. So the Mazzini, the black nobility families of Europe were heavily connected with this movement of the Illuminati to control everything.
I fear you're gonna have to explain this as though we're totally handicapped, mostly because we're totally handicapped. Like I have no idea.
I'm
Like,
surprised you guys, have been.
Yeah, we said we liked
You're saying-
conspiracy theories, and
you're
we're
saying a
like,
lot of-
well, we don't
he's
know anything about
saying
conspiracy theories.
a lot of
Yeah.
names. And
Yeah.
I'm talking like
I feel like this is
Michael
what a lot
Jackson's
of conspiracy
still
theorists do. No offense. They just throw so many names and facts
Yeah.
at you that you're like,
I don't know
I'm
what's
just too
happening.
tired to drive my Google machine at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, obviously we know this thing. You're like, obviously we don't. No one knows what the, like, that's what most conspiracy theorists do is they
Right.
just keep throwing things at you until you're too tired to research.
exactly, and that's probably the term conspiracy theorist was purported out of the CIA. They labeled you a conspiracy theorist. What was the intention with that labeling of you? It was to persuade you that you should stay within the confines of the cube that we've developed for you, and then going outside of that cube, you're going to get labeled and blacklisted and whatever else they want to put upon you and destroy you. So their power always lies in their secrecy and their ability to make you become one of their gang. And like I said, it goes back anciently to Cain. You know the story of Cain
Remember
and
that
Abel.
guy Trent
Uh-huh.
in the
I've
Bible?
read that make believe book as well.
Yeah.
Right. So what did Cain gain from what he did?
He killed his brother, and he got a birthright.
Right. And he got gain out of killing somebody, right?
Yeah.
He got his brother's ownership of his property.
Right.
Well, didn't that's the start of black people, so that's good.
Well, yeah, well that
gonna say,
goes into
If you
Contract.
believe in that theory, conspiracy theory of the Bible.
yeah, well
Uh-huh.
that was the mark of Cain was that, and that was tied to the bloodlines too, to make sure the bloodlines remain pure so that the Messiah would be born thereafter.
You keep saying, who's they? You're like, they are doing that. They are whatever.
Well,
Who's
like I
they?
said, the secret societies and organizations that want to maintain their power by control of the masses is the secret to their success. And the more, it's like the more they organize themselves, they have to keep these secrets hush hush. So what they do is they bring you in and say, this is for an example. They might bring you in and say, we're trying to bring you into this organization that we want you to be a part of because we've seen the way you've acted and the things that you've done and represent. Sit down in this chair and I want you to spit on this cross. And he spits on the cross.
Who's he?
Or the initiate.
Okay.
The person that's being brought in because they recognize the worth of this person that might be good for them in the future.
This is like a club. They're in a basement. They're wearing goats.
Is this like the
Well,
Bilderberg
something
groups
like- no,
just
it might-
training weekend?
It might
It's
be
like
very
Rush Week?
innocent. It might not. They're not going to show that yet because it'll scare the crap out of you if you saw that coming up in front of your eyes if you're not used to it. So initiates are somebody that's not aware of what's going on but being brought in because there's potential. It's always potential. So they bring him in and they say, sit down and we want you to spit on this cross. And he spits on the cross. Or no, the first one might say, no, I'm not going to spit on the cross. I'm a religious person and I believe in God. And that's kind of kind of a sacrilege for me to do that. And they sit him down, they say, you did the right thing. And they let him go. They get the next guy in and they say, spit on this cross. And he spits on the cross. Well, the guy that didn't spit on the cross, because they know the type of life that these people are going to get involved in and the effects of their power system, it's going to negatively affect the society of the civilization. He's never moved up within the organization. So you have the degrees of Freemasonry, right? You've heard of that.
Yeah.
So there's 1 through 3, and
Yellow
then there's
belt, black belt.
that's karate.
Yeah.
That's Bruce
Yeah.
Lee's. But you're brought into the 3 degrees, and as you move up, if you continue with your with the way they want you to do things, or they might give you things to carry out, and if you do them successfully, they move you up into the organization to the point where most of the politicians and people of Hollywood all belong to these organizations. And the reason why is the promise of wealth, recognition, notoriety, and power.
How's this different than church?
Uh,
This
they're
sounds
working,
the exact same
They're working
way.
for the 2 different guys. There's 2 different guys involved here.
Who's the Jesus or the God of the conspiracy?
Well, the God...
It's Robert F. Kennedy. No, I was curious about this because you remember me bringing up Robert F. Kennedy last time.
Yeah.
right.
And
He was
And-
one of them, but...
he was one of the people in the...
Well, if he's president of the United States, he knows what's going on. They don't do these things just arbitrarily.
So I meant, sorry,
Not
Robert F.
JFK.
Kennedy
RFK,
Jr.,
okay, Bob,
the one that's currently running for president.
yes,
He's been labeled a conspiracy theorist by a ton of people, like, oh, don't listen to him, and
anti-vaxxer.
anti-vaxxer. And when people say, oh, you should debate him then, just go debate him, and people will say, oh, I would never debate a conspiracy theorist because blah, 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 blah.
And that shuts down the paradigm.
And it's been interesting because the few people that I've seen that get up there and they'll say, like, well, you said this and this is not true. And he says, well, let me explain myself. And he kind of fires off, and the people don't come back and say, oh, well, no, that's wrong, and here's why, here's the source, blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of like more of the same. Like, I don't know. It is interesting. I do feel like in our society today, there is this push to, like, shut down debate in
Right.
favor of just labeling someone.
And that should be a major
conspiracy
red
theorist.
flag. That should be a major red flag because, I mean, look at the universities of education. There's now no opportunity for these students to get 2 sides of the story. It's either this way or the highway.
Right.
And if they are, they're relinquished to the pastures of nothingness.
Yeah.
They just aren't given the opportunity. A lot of them are waking up, though. A lot of them are seeing, the control system that's being put in place, and they're starting. A lot of these universities that are opening up are very negative on the Harvard and the Yale's universities and all this woke, propaganda that's happening and teaching these kids a total, anti-American way of thinking.
Yeah.
And it's tearing the country apart, which is its intentions, by the way. So, back to the starting with Cain. This started the way that you could gain power and influence was that you could influence people to do bad things to other people, and you would be rewarded by these activities. So we see that throughout the echelons of society and civilization. That's always been the case. One of the examples is if you're a Egyptian pharaoh and you know the exact time and season when an eclipse is going to come and show up, you're going to open things up and maintain and tell people that
I'm God and I'm going to shut the sun down so that you
Exactly.
know that I'm God.
right. And
Yeah.
that's all knowledge and information only kept for the elite at the top of the pyramid.
Right.
So the guys below that, and the same thing happened with COVID-19. It was all propaganda. It was all through fear. It's the Hegelian dialectic. You're familiar with the Hegelian dialectic?
No.
Well, it's thesis, antithesis equals synthesis. So you have 2 opposing forces, right?
Yeah.
You inject crisis in between the 2 of them, and it starts to bring them back together, closer together, not all the way. This was Marxism. This is how Marx was changing the societies. So out of the synthesis, you create a new thesis, antithesis, and you start another synthesis through crisis. So you see the crises and how we've been moved in our society to do certain things. So the object has always been, we want to implement something that's going to, say the plan is to take away from us some of our constitutional rights. Are you going to give them up easily?
No.
You're not. So,
Well, what if I don't have? I no longer believe that it is a constitutional right.
you'd be pretty close to being right, but that wearing down of the society comes through steps. You can't do it all at once because it gets people wound up, and they say, "Get out the guns, Charlie. We're going against Washington D.C."
Right.
So they do it incrementally. It's a little bit here, a little bit there, and if they get a little back talk about things that they're implementing, then they bring down the ladder a couple of rungs so that they know they've been recognized as there's something being carried out. So again, they bring in the crisis, which scares people. It gets them to agree to do things against the Constitution that they otherwise would not do. And wasn't that one of the things, I forgot his name, but he said, we can do amazing things through crisis, by implementing crisis, things that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
So let's jump right to the big crisis, September 11th.
Right.
Do you think that was planned by the U.S. government?
Oh, by all means. Well, not the government per se. The government is just something that we outwardly see. It's the, what do they call it? The black, what is
Plague.
No. What does Trump called it? What he's fighting against? The
swamp.
Being
the swamp.
stupid?
Well, the swamp. What's the other
His
name
own
for
brain?
it? What's the other name for it?
Oh, I thought it was swamp. Drain the swamp. The corruption.
Well, the shadow government, whatever they call that, right? So there's
The fake news.
fake news.
Well, it's the onion. It's like what the Pentagon looks like. It's a building within a building within the building coming into the center. So these are hierarchies. They're built upon hierarchies, recognizable hierarchies that are honored by the people that have been brought into the societies. And these things have all been done since time memorial.
And the purpose of the thing you're trying to gain out of 9/11 was
War with the Middle East.
It's very interesting because it's kind of layered. They wanted to get into Iraq, first of all. They wouldn't have been able to do it unless they said, well, the mass weapons of mass destruction, Cheney and all this stuff. So, 9/11 was a way to scare people because they're still afraid of the masses of people who can at any point figure these things out and point the direction of the hierarchy and say, those guys are responsible. We're going to vote the bastards out, or we're going to do whatever we have to do, or show up in Washington, D.C. with guns to take them down, which they tried on January 6th. That was all planned to trap these people. They knew exactly why they were doing that.
I thought that didn't really happen, Jake.
January 6th?
Yeah. Thought that was fake news.
Nope. It happened.
It went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They skipped January 6th, didn't they?
Jeff, you're into conspiracy theories. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Do you, because I love conspiracy theories, mostly for the story and the information that's there.
Right.
It's interesting to me. It's like, that's another point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is, it gets quickly misunderstood that everything is believed. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, I'll talk about a conspiracy theory with someone and they'll be like, oh, you're crazy. Like, no, I'm just talking about it. It's not even that I believe all of it. It's just, this is another version of 9/11 that everyone's been told about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Do I know for a fact? That'd be a very far stretch. I barely know that the planes ran into the building. I mean, I've seen that on movies before too. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, everything I've personally
GI.
perceived with my own eyeballs has been nothing compared to the reality of what happened there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's a certain amount of faith that you have to put forward to believe that occurred. And so the thing that gets interesting to me is that, okay, there's another side of the story. Whether it's right or not isn't even my goal. It's just another story, which is interesting to me as well.
Sure.
And so I don't necessarily believe all the stuff, but it's fun to talk about. That's for sure.
Right. But you have to understand that 9/11 did happen, and these these machinations of control over society and civilizations, the same formulas have been used over and over again, and because they've been repeated over and over again means that they're always successful. And an uneducated populace or citizenship, which we largely are now, we have no idea what the Constitution is. We probably couldn't even name what the capital of New York is. With some of these kids that are interviewed on the street that supposedly went through quote unquote colleges, years 1 through 4, but you have to understand that this is well planned, and if you look at it deeply, like I say, it's multi-layered in that they think it looks like a ritual that's tied to Freemasonry. The ritual of the two towers being taken down, which is tied to the temple. In the Masonic temple, there's two pillars outside the building. One is Boaz, one is Jachin. One represents the sun, one represents the moon. The other interesting symbol was something attached to a star. What during 9/11 was attached to the star, or parts of a star?
The
flag
the
that was raised.
radio tower,
Building.
the building,
Building 5.
What building?
because it was on fire.
What shape is the Pentagon?
Oh, a
It's
starish.
The Pentagon.
Right. So they're saying this was a representation,
Good job, Trent.
right, of a star,
Yeah.
which is all tied to inside the.
Who's they?
Well, I keep saying it's the people that are tied to these secret organizations.
I know, but who? They?
I think the
these
point-
people. Those like who
point-
is
the
they?
point
Who
is-
are they?
The point is that they're a secretive group, and so it's hard to know.
Is
Well-
Joe Biden one of them? That's all we
Oh,
want to know.
Absolutely.
Yes, he is absolutely.
So Trump would have to be then as well.
Is Donald Trump one of them?
Well, it's interesting you say that because there are some connections to Freemasonry with him. And like I said, you don't become this powerful. Look at Jack Kennedy. I mean, he said to get rid of the CIA and to get rid of the Federal Reserve, and that's always been the case, especially with Lincoln. Lincoln felt the same way. He knew the Federal Reserve and the international bankers were the ones controlling the United States, so he tried to take them out, and what happened to them? I mean, the parallels are interesting between the two guys.
You
So-
don't think Lincoln maybe got murdered over slavery? You think it was over something?
Well, it was partially about slavery too, but it was largely because he wanted to release the greenback, which was debt-free money, which wasn't tied to the international banking system through the Rothschilds. You're familiar with the Rothschilds, right?
Heard of it? I didn't know it went back to the Civil
family.
War.
Well, yeah. Well, part of it was if you go back to the Revolution, the establishment of the 13 colonies, you needed money to do that. There was a what do you call it? A loan that was taken out against the establishment of the 13 colonies. There was a 70-year note, right? And we always say it was tied to slavery, but there was other additional things to it. This is why the South rejected the proposal to put their land up for collateral for payment for this loan. They were calling for the loan. It was becoming due during Lincoln's administration. We didn't have the money. We were flat out broke. And in fact, Lincoln actually took out a loan from the IMF, International Monetary Fund, or the Bank of International Settlements. We couldn't afford it. And so what they were proposing, what the Rothschilds were proposing, that we put up our farms and our land masses as payment for that collateral, for payment of that loan. The South obviously refused to do that. So it was part and parcel of what went on with the Civil War. We were flat broke. We've been broke. And then comes the Act of 1871. Or, anybody familiar with the Act of
No.
1871?
No.
what the Act of 1871 is, it turned the United States, because we didn't have the money and were flat broke because of the Civil War, we incorporated the United States of America into a corporation. Okay. So now all the citizens on the face of the United States continent now became stock in the establishment of the corporation of the United States of America. We became owned, and there's a lot of research that'll take you back, that we were actually owned by the Vatican. The Vatican owns us. If you go into the legal terms of the Constitution and some of the agreements that were made between England, we are owned, and that's what your Social Security number is. There's a bond taken out in your name, and within that bond, everything you pay to the government goes into that bond. Never heard any of this before.
You are blowing my mind.
I'm
right
looking
now.
it up online. There's nothing in here about. So,
Look up
what you're saying.
maritime admiralty law. And this is why you have a birth certificate. You were born from the water, from your mother's water. You came down the birth canal. You were tied to the dock. All this is legalese. This is all legal terminology that encapsulates the ownership of property. We are now ownership of property. We are property. We've been property since that time.
So the Maritime Admiralty Law, whatever.
Law of the sea.
Admiral Act, also known as the Maritime Law, is a distinct body of law that governs the legal rights and obligations of parties involved in maritime activities and commerce.
Right.
So you look up that act and it doesn't say, pardon my French, shit about fuck. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what you say, look up that law, and how
And
do you
that's what
draw
it
that
says.
law into anything?
What's being said is that you can use the terminology of a ship or a vessel or a entity coming into port via waterways, right?
That's you and your mother?
So, but I mean, you're following me so far. I'm not saying this is right. I'm just like, trying to explain it to you.
Oh, no, I'm
So you
following
have
you
a
to Crazy
vessel,
Town. I'm on the bus with you.
You have a cigarette. What do they call those? A cigarette speedboat coming
Okay.
into town, and it docks somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, so you could see that like your cigarette speedboat is now a human body and it's going down the canal into dock, aka Dr. Johnson's hands. You know what I mean? Like that. What he's saying is you could argue that terminology legally could be say you are now the property of blah.
Right.
You can argue it? Would it stand up in court? And has there been anything that has stood up?
Yes.
Saying.
There are people who understanding this and knowing their Constitution are deeply involved in researching and understanding this, because it's a new paradigm with people realizing that they are no longer under the authority of the government. They are now, and understanding this, that you are property. You are actually property through this act of 1871, and so you.
There's nothing in the Act of 1871 that says that.
Well, it says it.
So
It does?
So we're all
Where?
We're all part of this thing that we're controlled by these people who are in this group, this secretive society who kind of undermines and controls how everything does. So what's the answer? Like, how do we get out of it? How do we get rid of those people? How do we even find them if we can't name them?
Well, they're named and they're widely known, but because of their power and influence, and they, I hate to bring this up, but they are answering to Satan, and Satan is the god of this world, and he is titled that for a specific reason. He gives people the power through their adherence to his objectives, with the understanding that with that adherence, they get rewarded for it.
I love it.
So what's the reason, and what's the end game for all of this massive experience that has underlying control? centralized control.
The reason is it's what Satan tried to do with the plan that was put forth before you and me came to this earth. It's being implemented because he failed the first time. This is going into the second result of his influence, and he is and has become quite successful with it, with a lot of volunteer from people who don't even know that's what they're doing and what they are adhering to. They don't understand it.
But the real question is, who built the pyramids?
Therein lie, was it Abraham or was it Enoch?
Aliens.
I think it
That's
was
the-
giants.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't aliens. Aliens are very interesting, especially in the future. What's going to happen?
Well,
with
they're
them.
real now, right? Isn't the government straight out come out? Didn't they just have a whistleblower come out and say, I've talked to like 7 different intelligence analysts who've all said, yeah, I've seen alien bodies.
This is the great deception.
But if we can't believe the government on anything else, why would we believe it when they come out and say that aliens are real?
Well, no, this is so they kind of said the UFOs were real, or acknowledged that, yes, we don't know what they are. But more recently, a guy came out who's like a senior intelligence analyst in the CIA. I'm probably getting some of this wrong, CIA or something. And he said, I haven't actually seen the bodies, but I've spoken to at least 8 trustworthy people who have been like, yeah, I've seen the bodies. So yeah,
Right.
it is like hearsay or whatever, but he's come out and like put his neck on the line and blah blah blah. And Congress is apparently investigating it.
I love it when no one's seen it, but someone told me about
Yeah.
it. When they,
What about
my
the
favorite.
the Vegas aliens?
You know what I immediately thought? I'm like, you're an intelligence analyst surrounded by spies, and they come and tell you, oh yeah, I've seen the aliens, and you don't think that's a test to see if you go blab to everybody? They said they saw aliens. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just
and
that.
now they're just laughing
Yeah.
about it.
Or he made it up, or there's bodies in the White House down in the basement. Aliens, Trent.
Well, they say, like I said, this is going to be the great deception. It's going to take your ideas of God and put them in the trash heap because it's going to be very powerful. And it does say in the scriptures that even the very elect might be fooled at this coming forth of this. And if you look at the Vatican has very interesting stuff in their archives and catacombs that are going to come forth. And I think that the Jesuits are, through Fifth Column, they are out to destroy Christianity. They've infiltrated the Catholic Church since the 1500s with Ignatius Loyola, who was the first Jesuit captain to bring forth this movement. So they think this is all in, it's not extraterrestrial, or it's interdimensional beings, and there's a lot of books that have made that point, that these look to be interdimensional beings. Not that they're not physical and not that there are not UFOs out there, but there's a lot of information that they've taken this technology that was shared with them, and they've back engineered and created these. I don't know if you know about the Nazis, but the Nazis were way ahead on this anti-gravity propulsion. They had the thing called the Bell. You ever heard of the Bell?
Nope.
The Bell?
Were they ahead of actually doing something, or were they ahead of in trying to make something happen?
Well, the Nazis and through Operation Paperclip, they were brought into this country purposefully to get ahead of the Russians taking this technology because they were highly advanced. The Nazis knew they were going to lose the war, and so they made these agreements with the Allies to bring them in. What's interesting is they were jet propulsion scientists, von Braun and the whole NASA group of Germans that were brought in to head this part of our government, NASA particularly. But the other interesting part is they brought in like 800 mind control scientists, which through the studies of what they did in the Nazi concentration camps, they were quite well versed in the control of the human mind and ways and methodologies to control people. And so they believed that a lot of that was brought in. The psychiatry industry that we see now was largely due to the knowledge that the Nazis brought with them. So, if you look at things, can you not say that there's been a lot of instances of brainwashing that are going on, convincing people of things that they not?
And I love it.
So obviously we've been inundated with a huge amount of information that I don't think we kind of fathom how they all tie together.
I feel like my whole life I was like Jeff said, I'm interested in conspiracy theory, but I didn't have a clue, I realized, until I had this conversation. Like, I've never met a real conspiracy theorist, because you've got like a ton of stuff like that I never even thought about or heard about.
And I know it's too much, but like I said,
well, no, it's fascinating to hear you talk about it.
it's tip of the iceberg, really.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It seems like just
Right.
this little glimmer of like the stuff you've spent your life like learning about or reading or something like that.
Well, it was a spiritual experience that really got me going with this, and I don't know if you guys have time to listen to what happened to me, but it was quite pronounced and quite not for me. I don't know where it came from, but I was always interested in knowing how the world works, the mechanics of it all, and
No, I do not.
it's too much stuff,
Right with
man,
Ray
guys.
Kurzweil is
I
pretty
think we have to
impressive.
stick with what we got because I'm going too far here, and it's.
Maybe Putin read The Rise of the Fourth Reich, and that's why he's in Ukraine, because of the high population of Nazis there.
Well, it's in Argentina too. We know, a lot of stuff has happened that reflects what's going on, and it's important for us on a spiritual level and a physical level to protect our families. And I think it's important to know what's coming, because it's going to. Hey, I've already in my mind. I've thought 5 years from now I could be in a concentration camp. That's where my mind is right now, seeing what's being put out there. I mean, the whole premise of wiping out intelligence so that they don't fight against the machine that's being established, it's quite paramount in the Book of Mormon, especially with the fight against the Nephites, who were quite well versed in, and they gave a lot of that up. So there are parallels to our day, reflecting back in what's happened in the past, and I think God has given us these cycles of repetitiveness to warn us so that we are prepared for it, that we're not going to fear. I could get a bullet in my back if I'm running away or fighting whoever is going to hurt my family. That's the way I'm thinking now, and unfortunately I wish that it wasn't that way, but it points to the fact that times are going to get pretty rough out here.
And
I guarantee you just tried some new conspiracy theories today.
yeah, if you made it to this point, then you now know a lot more things that you didn't before, or at least you've heard new things. So
Well, if you get a chance, kind of an overview, kind of a lead into introduction to some of these things we talked about. If you can watch Alex Jones, he's got a documentary put out called Endgame. It was one of the first ones that I watched, and it kind of explains step by step.
Is this before or
Process.
after he claimed Sandy Hook was fake?
Well, you have to look at some of the Sandy Hook information.
that's
It's-
another rabbit hole, Trent.
That's another rabbit hole.
That's
My
another
sister
one.
lives in that area that
Well-
all these fake kids died in, and their
Oh, really?
families are pretty real.
You have to look. There was a lot of unanswered questions that day. A lot.
So the kids are fake?
I don't
Part
know.
two.
I can't say
To be
yes or
continued.
no, but the questions that can be led outside of that parameter that have to be answered, apropos what was going on with Obama, like 14 miles away, with a mock disaster project or program that happened not too far from there, and why. Here's a conspiracy theory for you. In the movie Batman,
Which one?
With your boy.
The Dark Knight
The Dark Knight.
Rises.
It shows
One of
a
the best
map
movies ever.
on that movie. It shows a map of exactly where Sandy Hook was on 84. There's a map that's shown up in the movie that shows the exact Sandy Hook location on it. Very interesting. And the fact with this Aurora guy, his father was tied to Sandy Hook too. The kid that killed in Aurora, was
Colorado?
it Colorado, yeah. Very interesting. Like I said, it's a whole new paradigm.
Yeah, that's another one.
it's another. I'll have
Don't
to come
tease
back.
that, Trent.
I'll have
Glow.
to come back next
Don't
week.
bring that
Well,
one up, Trent.
But just one last thing.
Go ahead.
I knew that the internet eventually is going to be taken down, and it's slowly working its way out. I've got 377 2-hour downloads from everything from A to Z that I've been doing since 2008. And it's quite a laundry list of not just that, it's, frequency, health and eating good food, the education programs against this mind control of these young kids, which is such a reality today.
Wait, this is a website that you have?
No, it's
I don't know.
downloaded. He doesn't want it on the internet. Well,
I
he
don't
knows
want
it'll
it
be taken down off the internet. That's why he's
Oh, things that you've downloaded.
Yeah.
information that he's
you
gathered.
perceived were going to be taken
Well,
down.
it was broad.
He has a literal library at home of CDs,
Yeah, I've got it all,
compact discs.
compact discs.
Wow. You are... I didn't even know about...
Like you said, this was
Yeah,
the tip
you'd always
of the
told me
iceberg.
that he was a conspiracy theorist. I had no idea. It was like somebody told me, "Oh yeah, my brother's in karate," and then meeting an MMA fight, an MMA champion, or something like that.
Well, like I
So-
said, it's pertinent information, and the experience of being born into this world. It's kind of our responsibility to know the height, width, and depth of our reality.
Yeah, I think we should always question all of our beliefs, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And
Brigham Young said that. He said, "Don't even trust anybody,
yeah,
not even the leaders of the church. Don't trust them until you've got a
I wouldn't have
confirmation."
trusted Brigham Young either. That's
Well,
a smart guy.
Like I said, it's up to interpretation, and that's all part of the program we live in.
I love Brigham Young.
So
So did I. I thought it was awesome.
if someone is listening to this episode and is like, "That's interesting. I want to know more," is there any way that they can contact you that you would like to share?
If it's not 10,000 people, you can get me at het56 at msn.com.
HETT
56
56.
at msn.com.
Send him an email and say, "Tell me more
Well,
about
if,
this Sandy Hook thing."
if only 1 out of 10 of our listeners email you, it shouldn't be.
It will
more
be
than
one.
10,000.
It'll be one person.
Yeah.
That's
you
fine.
you probably won't get inundated with emails.
It's just gonna
not
be
because
Jake.
of you, but
or they'll be
because
sending people to my house in a
Sure,
white
it'll be
van
me.
Yeah.
with the pads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That was great to have you on.
Yeah, we
Well,
appreciate you
thanks.
coming on.
It wasn't even what I wanted to get into, but that's fine.
Well, there was a lot of information in there. We appreciate you coming on the show. It was great that we were able to work it out.
So I still
And-
am able to sleep in your home tonight. So everything's
Yeah,
gonna be okay.
yeah, we still have a bed for you at our place.
We don't care. We're an open book here at the American
I find
Fork
that, and I
Podcast.
appreciate that.
Yeah, we talk about anything.
Right.
That's
So-
interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for as far as our listeners are concerned, thanks for coming and thanks for staying with us. It's been kind of a longer one, but it's been fun. And remember to follow us on Instagram if you want to hear anything that we when you want to be notified anytime we have a new episode, or subscribe to the show. And if you'd like to help us, we'll eventually finish the studio, right?
Oh, and
Go to Patreon.
It's only $100 a month on Patreon.
Patreon.com/AmericanForked and you can
Checks
send us
in
a
the
few
mail.
bucks.
Yeah.
and we should, by the way, I always think about this and forget. We should thank our number one sponsor, Trent, right over here. because without him and his house that he's dedicated to this studio, we wouldn't even be doing this. So,
And
We
he's
would,
got an
but it would be
American
like-
flag on the back wall.
Yeah.
That's
In a
awesome,
bedroom.
man.
so thank you, Trent.
We're in friendly,
Yeah.
friendly environments.
And for the Otter Pops.
Yeah,
Also.
and all that food.
I'm surprised
we
they're
eat.
still there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do eat 7 every time I go.
We're only here once a month now,
Right.
so.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, thanks for listening. You guys are awesome, and bye.
see you later.
Thank you.